not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? We're talking about practice.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere up and they wonder it's not me. Beat me, shred a nigga block, that's chop cheese, no peace. The butterfly stinger, that's Ali. You read, I teach you with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machine, you look like a woman, that's I.B. You a sheep, I'ma throw it some different, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block me. They block me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug like they bring out the nose, pain in on the grid. All years coming out the fall, connected from college, you first niggas, so let it go. Nigga, I eat bars and drink flows, thinking you woke to your third eye peephole. Learn from a lot of shit too easy, just like a free throw. Master the game too early, this bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game, these niggas lame, say bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, but the east man, I'm a green flame. Shit, I miss me fire, I ain't taking aim. Tell his brother he can try his best. Round apart, ain't hit to me, that's why I'm in the set. Like these niggas, and I ain't breaking sweat. Number one in everything, I mean, that's my one class. The Lord is not the God of the head, so when I die, I'm coming back from my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Tell them the box is the with the box stick. You gonna need a defense alignment to block this. On point when I'm watching, if it's not this, I'm barking with a full bulldog, it's not this. They can see that my mind sick, I don't break my sign shit, I don't like it, and honestly, if I touch it, it's not this. All the vision I'm God saying, it ain't because my kids. Built like 5'6", 5'7", it's 5'6", dangerous, high risk. I'm using get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl, I'm talking about another girl. Head down, they look at it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house, nigga, we run the crib. I'm a head now, and I hope they can head now. I don't care if you think it's hit, nigga, I don't care. Trying to make it sound like raindrop, that's a quiet storm. Get the job done, and if you would get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking in the bitch right for war, I'm in right form. I work these niggas to see like that's why I am on. I should've lived in the crib, nigga. I should've been born to go through this shit. I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
I just want to see my enemies fall. Yeah. Hey, yo, I just want to pop. So my niggas get tall. Cause we about to go and get it out. Nigga, I just want to pop. Forget them 20s while they crawl. I've been praying that my enemies fall. Nigga, I just want to pop. Hey, I hope you pop too. And if you got it.
Shalom, Israel. This is Officer Barak of the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohanan, started at 125th Street in Harlem, New York since 1969. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. I want to start out this class today, first of all, with a greeting to my brothers. Shalom Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai Barak Atham. And then I also want to give a shout out to my sisters. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathun by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Today's class is how do you maneuver in KKK? So if you've seen the news lately, well, first of all, here in the area that I am in, racially and motivated attacks are up 72% on the 12% of the population that's spread out throughout the whole state. And Oregon is a pretty big state. It has a large landmass, and so that's pretty significant for a 72% jump on the 12% of the population within, this state. Not to mention what just happened not too long ago down there in where was that? Was that Montgomery, Alabama, where they had the ferry trying to pull in and the people wouldn't move the ferry, and it just turned into the brother having to go and move the boat. I'm sure everybody's seen it. And what happened, because they were the other people were so shocked because they felt privilege. We got white privilege, even if we're not supposed to be there. How dare you, black man, just keep it real. Well, I'm on Facebook, so I might not want to say that, but the racial slur. And how dare you put your filthy hands on our boat? Now, if a white guy would have came down there and did that, that would have been no problem. But instead, and this man is what, 60, 65 years old? They jumped this senior citizen. He's a senior citizen. 60. That 60-year-old man had hands. Ain't that what one of them said afterwards? That he had his little video on TikTok because he's full of remorse. His remorse isn't because of his actions, because he wasn't remorseful at the time. His remorse is for the consequences of his actions, because he's truly not sorry. He's sorry that they didn't win, and he's sorry for the consequences that with the law, which should have been a Class C felony, jumping on a senior citizen while he's working, which was actually trumped down to a misdemeanor. And then also there was just this shooting at the Dollar Tree store. So you definitely need to know how to be safe while you out here maneuvering around. So let's just get some advice, which is down in our records, and see what our records has to say on this matter. Let's see, give me this quick second. And I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. This is going to be my it's very important that you need to know how to keep yourself safe. First, the most important thing is that the reason our people are in such danger is because they're not keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments. And they've been taught that the statutes, laws, and commandments are done away with. But if you've been attending any of the I.S.U.P.K classes anywhere, or you can even check online that the laws are not done away with. That's why this is the law class, because the statutes, laws, and commandments are not done away with. That's what's wrong with our people. That's why we're destroyed. That's why we're in this predicament, going around in the dope fiend circle and can't seem to get out of it. Just like those people that, you see them, they stuck on that stuff and they just travel that same circle. You know, don't do the dope fiend circle. That's what I call it. So Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. Make sure my mic is on. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not. Now, this is what you don't do. I'm going to start right there again. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Hey, if he ain't an Israelite, you know, you're not supposed to be setting him over you. Obama was not an Israelite. He wasn't. You know, his father was a Hamite. He was not an Israelite. You know, he was from one of them African tribes. Biden, come on. If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Well, President Biden, I'm not black. Black is a color on a color crayon. I'm an Israelite, which includes blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, even the ones that don't know it, even the ones that don't believe it. Those are still my brethren. Those are Israelites. And look at my skin tone. I am not black. I'm like a copper color. I'm like a brownish color, reddish brown. I'm not, but Israelites are dark skinned. We come in all colors. And one thing they want you to do is to get caught up in color. Don't get caught up in color, because the book teaches against that. Our records tell us that my inheritance is like a speckled bird. And a speckled bird is all colors. So don't get caught up in colorism. Color is a form of division. It's something that was invented to divide people. The light against the dark, the white against the black. When even all white people don't get along. The Russians, the Ukrainians, America, Britain, Germany, Switzerland. I could keep going on and on. The Asian companies don't get along. But you know what? They know to keep it separate. And this is something that our nation has not learned, and we're trying right now to rectify that matter, because the whole word holy means separate. So we're telling you, to keep it holy, to keep it separate. We don't walk around with our heads in the clouds. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we are not Twilight Zone's Israelites. We take this book and these records and references, laws, statutes, and commandments, and use it to guide our way of life every day. That's literally what they do. So to call us black, label us all these different things, black extremist groups, watch them, they're possible terrorists, red flaggers, when all we do is study the Bible, keep the laws in this book, plus keep Esau's laws, go to work and go home. That's what we do. We just, don't even indulge in what the Romans got going on, because that's their thing. They're focused on their culture. You need to be focused on your culture, figuring out what it is, who you are, what tribe you from. And it's important because there's 12 gates on the kingdom of heaven, and each one has a name on it. How you going to get into heaven? You don't even know which gate you're supposed to walk in, let alone the Holy Tongue. So let me read that again. 17:15. Thou shalt anywise set him king over thee, who the Lord thy God shall choose. So who the Most High chooses to be over you is who's supposed to be over you. And he's placed someone above us. He's already chosen someone. That is our king. Christ is our king. Yahweh Shai. That's our king. Nobody else is supposed to be over us. We're supposed to be waiting for him to come back, focusing on studying our records, using it to guide our ways, keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments of our God, of our culture. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You do that, you'll be saved, because this is lawful. As soon as you start trying to do the other things that the other nations is having, you're putting you and your family in danger. You're not safe. You're not safe. Because now you're going against your God and you're following their God. And if the best thing you could do is study this book, because if you do, you'll see that all these other nations are anti-Christ. All of them. They're all anti-Christ. Every last one of them, because they don't keep the statute, laws, and commandments. And that's what this book is about. Brotherhood, keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments. Brotherhood, brotherhood, brotherhood. Don't sleep with your brother's woman. Oh, well, they ain't married. She ain't got no ring. Brother, are you kidding me? He done left his DNA inside that woman. If she didn't want to be with him, it's too late now. She laid down with him. It's a wrap. See, that ends a lot of hostility right there. That just ends a lot of hostility, because a lot of things that's going on is usually a lot of times about some women. So that's going to cut out a big percentage of it. This is how you heal the Black community. This is how you stop some of that chaos and drama. Yeah, so I mean, and just think of the things that Biden did when he got in office. If you don't vote for me, you're not Black. I mean, well, since he's been in office, all this stuff he's did. Oh, we got the Medicare and insulin is cheap, but what about the rest of medication? You mean to tell me, oh well, in 2 years? What do you mean in 2 years? So you're gonna let them continually to rob us blind for 2 more years, charging our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, and great aunts and great uncles $100 a day for one pill that costs them a half a cent to make. But that's why you just leave them to do their own thing. Voting ain't is not doing you no good. Let them fight it out. Go ahead and let them have another civil war, and you sit back and watch it on TV with a bag of popcorn. It's a circus. Just look at the news now. Donald Trump making a mockery of their justice system. He's making a complete mockery of their laws. You cannot make a mockery of our laws. You don't have to obey them, but you're the ones that's going to pay the consequences. You're the one that's putting yourself in jeopardy. You're not safe. It's not a good way to maneuver in America, KKK. Just turn on the news. What are they always talking about? This happened in the Black community. Buffalo, New York. This last incident down in Florida. Then they say the brown community down in Texas. Black, brown. I used to like math. I used to be good at it. And, I just 1 + 1 = 2. It's an equation. The Most High in Christ is the greatest mathematicians there could be. He's putting together for you an equation. So what does that equal up to? 3. What is 3? Black and brown, unite or die. That's what it equals. At least that's what I see every time I turn on the news. And they want to divide us, keep us divided between each other. They love to have the Mexican community against the Black community against the Mexican community. Why? Because it does them no good for us to be on one accord. It does no good for them to be on one accord. It does them no good, because if we start and get together, we'll do our own thing. We'll do our own thing. Look at Haiti. Haiti used to be a thriving island where it was the place to be if you was a runaway slave. You wanted to run to Haiti. Why? Because they were united. The Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives were all united on that island of Haiti. And the Europeans hated them. They still hate them for it. That's why it is the way it is. When Kushner, Hillary, the Clintons, and who else is wealthy that we know of that own major property over there? That's just the two I know. And I know they're major realtor holders over there. And that's what they wanted to do when they lost power. They were so upset that they put an embargo around that island. But what happened was they started fighting each other. So they left Haiti alone for a while. But after that, came right back to Haiti. Came right back to Haiti. Haiti's biggest thing was trying to make allegiance with them. You can't make allegiances with them. You just cannot do it. You know, the natives, it took them a while to figure it out, but they said, white man speak with a forked tongue. You know, you can't believe nothing he say. He's a snake. Same snake in the garden then, same snake now. You know, now you could run, and I see a lot of brothers do this. They try and blend in. They just want to fit in. There's always one, you know, and I don't knock the brother because he's trying to figure it out. But he can't figure it out. He's doing all this stuff. I seen him with the black painted fingernails, and you know, they're wearing shawls and dresses, and you know, they're just trying to hang out, you know, and just enjoy their lives. But it don't work. They always end up with some drama. You know, they be at some little rock concert. You see what happened with the years ago was a brother, and he was just a bouncer at a rock concert, and the crowd chased him up out of there. You know, who was that was performing? Tommy Lee. I believe it was Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee started calling the brother nigger. They, Salakia, started calling him racial slurs, and they ran him up out of there. Brother was in for, he almost got hung. He sued him, you know, but the psychological damage is done. Then he's got to go home, and his family, his kids, his wife, they all got to see how he was psychologically damaged. That brother is still scarred to this day. He will never forget that traumatic moment. So no, you are not saved. That's why the book says, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. You know, and I know it's hard because a lot of times they put us in the ghetto, which the ghetto is definition is the places where the Jews dwell. But you could find you a decent place somewhere within there. There's always a quiet, you know, little area. And if you keep the statutes, laws, and commandments, the Most High in Christ will put you there. And he will, it might even be the best place for you to be, where he wants you to be is right there in the hood. And he's going to keep you safe. You know, he has a mission for you. That's why you're there. So, with that, I'm going to go to Exodus chapter 23, verse 32. There would be no Martin Luther King hand in hand dream. That's exactly what that was. That was a dream. It wasn't even his dream. The sad part of it. I couldn't believe that when I found that out, that he did not write that speech. Do you know how long? How long I believed that I believed the lie that was his speech. How could it be your dream if you didn't write the speech? That's why he said, I fear as though I had led my people into a burning house. But see, if our people would have been paying attention and checking their records and really being thorough back then, they would have realized that Martin Luther King was after his own lust. He wasn't keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments. So whatever he did was going to fail. So I know I just saw a big thing on it on the news. I don't know if it was his birthday or what, because whatever day, whatever was going on, I really don't keep up with him. The Martin Luther King and whatever they got going on, because I know it's a farce. He said he's a proud recipient of the Margaret Thatcher Award, and that's the woman that put abortion clinics in all our neighborhoods. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and she's got a quote that says, paraphrasing, that the best way to deal with the Negro problem is in the womb. So I know a lot of people look at, the Republicans today, and they like to say that, well, they're Republicans. Republicans are against same-sex marriage, and they're against, so they say they're against abortion, but that's a lie. That's all a smoke screen, because when it's one of their mistresses, some women they've been sneaking around on their wife with, and she gets pregnant, oh, they hurried up and go get her abortion and wash her under the carpet. They're baby murderers. Quick. I think it was a Republican not too long ago that just got caught. I think also, who was that? Herschel Walker. I could be wrong about that, but I think he was trying to get a woman to have an abortion or pay her or something about that. So it's all farce. The real reason that they want to stop abortion is because their birth rate is going down and their death rate is rising. So they're like, oh man, we're losing more people than we're gaining, and the other nations are growing. So we got to do something to keep our growth. It has nothing to do with how they feel, because that's not the real reason why they're so against abortion. Oh God, and this and that. Well, if they were really about the Most High in Christ, they would be keeping the statutes, laws, and commandments, and that would never even be a thought. They're serving their own lust. They're serving a different God. They're serving that doest thou wilt God. It's the only way you can explain it. It's the only way. And then even if you bring out what is written, they'll say, well, I feel, wait a minute, hold on. What do you mean how you feel? Go in here and show me something written that's different. That's what you need to do. Don't tell me how you feel. Doesn't matter how you feel. So, Exodus chapter 23, verse 32. This is what our records tell us. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. I'll be telling those gods, oh, their gods. No. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. So now we're dwelling in their land, and the majority of our people as a nation is sinning against our God. It will surely be a snare unto thee. Look at our people. Look at our people. Don't know their native language. They'll tell you their native language is English. They'll think their native language is some language over in Africa. But all those Africans that come over here from the United States, they all know their history. And they'll call you Akata, Akata. You know. And what they're calling you is a cotton picker. It's a derogatory term. They don't want to make no deals with you. They had a thing on it in the movie. I forget that movie that Wesley Snipes played in. Him and his brother, they was the drug dealers. Seems like, we always got to be drug dealers. Can't be famous doctors, famous inventors like we are. Don't let them, they won't even think about making a movie about the brother that took the Confederate ship and turned it over to the Navy. I can't think of his name right at the moment. But they won't make a movie about him or none of the congressmen that were black that were in office during Reconstruction. They will not make no movie. You hear nothing about them. It's critical race theory. The only way you will know about those people is from learning from us and doing research. But you're only going to learn it from us. Smalls? I'm trying to think of the brother because he went on to become a congressman during Reconstruction. That's when America was great, or thought they were great. During Reconstruction, when they had us organizing everything and setting everything in place how it should be. Then what happened? Black Wall Street. What was that? Where they burnt down they rioted down there in Carolina, burnt the black printing press. That's what happens. That's what happens. In the Most High in Christ, all we had to do was ask him. All we had to do was check our records. Back then they probably, this book was probably a lot harder to come from. But now you have this book as your resource. Exodus chapter 23, verse 32. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. Thou shalt not dwell in thy land. Salakia. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. And that's what's going on now. You got brothers, they running around here, got their head all shaved up, little dots going across. They over there in China trying to learn how to be a monk. You got brothers running around here with these dreadlocks thinking that it's like a part of their culture, but due to lack of education, they don't realize that that's actually East Indian, that they kept the dreadlocks, they didn't wash them, they wanted them to be dirty, nasty, and disgusting and stinky so that they can be closer to Mother Earth. You know, those are the customs of other gods. Christmas, Valentine's Day. These are all the customs of other gods. What does our record say? Exodus chapter 23, verse 33. They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. Hey, everything they doing, it might look good, but trust me, it's bad. It's bad. You know, you look at the history of some of their holidays, they were having mass orgies. They're having same-sex partners, alternative lifestyle thing going on. So, you know, that's just spreading diseases. They were spreading diseases left and right. Syphilis, who knows what else. Don't do that. Don't do that. So what's happened on the news lately? They was just talking about, 60 years. It's been 60 years. Marching 60 years. Yeah, we're still trying to fulfill that dream. 60 years. What I think you need to try and fulfill the Most High in Christ vision. Try and fulfill the Most High in Christ statutes, laws, and commandments. Do His will, because this hand in hand, trying to make Martin Luther King dream happen hasn't worked in 60 years. You know, haven't worked in 60 years. Dude shot up the dollar store. He wrote a whole thing about how he just hate black people so much. Then he goes out, kills 3 people, and then shoots himself. Why didn't you just shoot yourself from the gate? You're mad at the wrong people. You mad at us? We don't run nothing. We're not hiring nobody, so it's not our fault that you don't have a job. You were gullible enough to go for the government's propaganda. You know, I mean, just like it's a lot of Caucasian people that send their kids to school and don't realize that they're keeping them in the same place with us. What they'll lead them to believe is that we're the problem, that they can't get further because we're sucking up resources, which is a lie. You know. So I want to move on. And I'm going to go into the Apocrypha. And I want to bring out a verse in there because this is some of the hidden books, and they're pretty much saying the same thing throughout all the books. And it's I.S.U.P.K chapter 12, verse 10, and I'm going to read through 11. I'm going to repeat that in case somebody want to write this down. I.S.U.P.K chapter 12, verse 10 through 11. Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and grow crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and there shall be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Never trust your enemy. Now, these people took us from, sacked our kingdom, tracked us down when we ran and tried to hide, the ones that did get away, shipped us over into slavery for 400 years. I wonder, who could the book be talking about? And then they like to say, oh, we can't get ahead. We can't get ahead. We can't do this. We can't do that. It's because you're not following your guide. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. You're not following your guide. You're not following it. This is the guide you're supposed to follow until the day you die. Then you go up to the Father and you rest and you come back down and you follow this again. When you don't follow it, when you come back down, you end up in a lower state of hell. And there's lower states of hell. Some people think homeless is a lower state of hell. It is. But there's a lower state of hell than that. You could be homeless without legs. So there's lower states. You could be homeless and you could be homeless, getting abused, and can't move, paralyzed. There's don't think that there's not a lower state of hell. There is. So, but then everybody, oh well, that's but I had people say, well, I don't know nothing about that. I never heard about that. I only go by the King James Bible. Okay. Well, let's go to I.S.U.P.K chapter 12, verse 10. In the King James. We will go to I.S.U.P.K chapter 12, verse 10. I always get tongue-tied saying that chapter. Scholasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So, back and forth through all this book is never trust your enemy. Let's get on by. Bye. You don't vote for me, you're not black. So he got a bunch of brothers to vote for him, to help him get in the office to beat Trump. And look what happened. Inflation up 40%. Gas is at $5 a gallon. Milk, food, everything is just raised up. So, oh yeah, we're gonna raise Social Security. You raise Social Security, but every time you go into the store, you're paying extra now. And the people that's on getting a disability check, I think it's like $800 a month. Just to get a studio, you looking at, you I don't even know if you could get a studio for that much. I think studios are $800 a month. So you're paying pretty much your whole check to put a roof over your head. That's why there's so many homeless people. That's why there's so many people out there that acting, they have lost their mind. Their mind has literally snapped just trying to pay rent, let alone that they have kids. A lot of these jobs, oh, there's all these jobs. Most of these jobs are temp service. A recession is coming. YRC Freight, Yellow Truck just went out of business. Just recently, before they went out of business, they took all those brothers' pension. You can't have no loyalty to them. They have no loyalty to you. If a brother would have been a day before they made that announcement, he'd have his pension. Those that were there, they didn't get their pension. Then after that, company went belly up. So you got brothers been there 30 years, let's say they're 68 and no pension, no job. Some brothers, just losing their job. They're driving trucks, got accustomed to a certain wage. Now they can't pay their bills. So let Biden tell you. Oh, Sleepy Joe gonna tell you, oh, there's plenty of jobs. The economy is booming. Majority of those jobs are through the temp service. So we've got Yellow Freight here in Portland. I don't know how many employees they have, but I'm gonna say they gotta have around 500 employees with the office personnel. All finna hit the workforce soon. They just got laid off. Unemployment is only a couple of months. Back to the slavery. But they don't get it. It's so funny. I was talking to somebody, we was laughing the other day. I said, you think they figure it out? It's the Willie Lynch letter, but just on a grander scale. Oh, you tired of this plantation owner? President, we're gonna let you vote for another one. Oh, he don't work out? It's been going on for years. So, I don't know. I just sit there, watch TV, and let the Republicans and the Democrats fight it out. They shooting at each other, and they're breaking into each other's homes and with hammers and all kind of crazy stuff. Just complete chaos. All right, I want to go to Psalms chapter 58, verse 3. Psalms chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So, just at birth, they're already serial killers. These little kids are shooting up the schools. We had the youngster here in Oregon. I think he was only 12. The Columbine over in Colorado, that incident, I think they were underage. They had the guys that the vampire cults. These people, they are wicked from the womb. They're just all kind of evil stuff. We just had the recent shooting where the alternative lifestyle person went in there into the so-called Christian school and shot it up. There's just countless incidents where they grow up and they don't even live in a black neighborhood. They hate us. They don't even have no interaction, no negative interactions with us. They hate us. Look at Buffalo, New York. They feeling sorry, buying them water. You need something to eat. Man turned around and came in there and shot that joint up. Look at what happened at the black church, I believe, in Tennessee. Oh, you want to come in and pray? That man went in there and shot that church up. What does our record say about that? The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So if the little baby, you gonna know, because it's gonna be a little lying little baby. Most little babies, did you take that? Yeah, them wicked little babies, 2 years old. Did you take that? No. Have it in their pocket. Wicked. But for us that have learned, and this is what I've learned in the I.S.U.P.K, to keep the statutes, laws, and commandments, and have patience, and let the Most High in Christ deal with it. Now, that's a hard thing to do, especially when you feel as though you've been offended. You want to take matters in your own hands. It's best to seek counseling, and that's something that it really It really takes a lot of practice. But that's the patience of the saints, to let the Most High in Christ deal with that. You don't have no armed response to the Florida incident, you know, where this brother went up there and did that, and they're making all these anti-Asian hate bill. Where is the anti-black hate bill? The anti-black and brown hate bill, where there's an extra penalty for targeting blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We were born our shade. Your alternative lifestyle is your choice. It's your choice. You're not born like that. If you were born a girl, you would have girl organs. And you would have had that in your last life and the previous life before that. If you feel as though you were supposed to be born a boy, you had boy organs, and you would have had that in your past lives. Even though you're fighting and struggling with keeping the law, don't just, oh, well, I was born this way. That is a lie. You were not born that way. You were born with either male or female organs, and they have a purpose. So let me go to Revelations chapter 14, verse 12. Revelations chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God in the faith of Yahushua. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their laborers, and their works do follow them. So for our patience, we get the rest, the works follow us. Don't be out there, oh, we gotta do an armed response. I used to be that guy. I wasn't the only one. It's a common misconception. Well, I don't know about in your area, but there's a common thing that I've seen on YouTube where they say, well, yeah, gang members is doing each other to them. They won't do nothing to those other guys. No. Well, at least not here in Oregon, and we're only 12%. It got so bad years ago, the skinheads killed it. He wasn't even an Israelite, but they beat an Ethiopian to death with a bat out in this area called Selwood. And the backlash from that, downtown Portland was all out chaos. Brothers was coming from the hood, and it was just a mass presence of black people, and there were mass riots. people getting jumped on sporadically throughout the city, so much so that they came up with a new law called Measure 11. So it don't mean that, well, you can't get into it. The thing with Measure 11 is you can't bust them in the head with nothing. And once they fall, you can't mollywop them. You mollywop them, you looking at, I think Measure 11 is 5 years. And there was a lot of brothers that got into incidents and knocked the other person down and mollywopped them. They didn't kill them, but yeah, they touched them up pretty good. They might have drugged their face across the concrete, and they ended up with 4 or 5 years out of the deal. So, no armed response, because the whole reason this is happening is to teach us a lesson to keep the statutes, laws, and commandments. And Black and brown has to unite for us to overcome, because that's what the Most High in Christ wants. That's what the Most High in Christ is going to get. Now, if you really, and to way, if you want to be invincible, these are the ways you be invincible. So I'm going to go back to the Apocrypha, because there's actually a good verse that I want to pull out there, and I've already demonstrated that pretty much that they're all saying the same thing. And you could use your phone. You don't have to have a Apocrypha. You could pull up your phone and just talk to it. You ain't even got to type it in. Just talk to it. And you could tell it Second Maccabees chapter 8, verse 36. And this is what it says. Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute by means of captives in Jerusalem. See, they owed the Romans. So what they paid the Romans was captives, which was us. I'm just going to start again and read through the whole thing. Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute by means of captives in Jerusalem told abroad that the Jews had God to fight for them, and therefore they could not be hurt because they followed the laws that he gave them. Read that again. Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tributes by means of captives in Jerusalem. So this was somebody that owed the Romans. The Romans was like, well, if you could go get us some Jewish slaves, because we was intelligent people. We were architects, building all kind of stuff. We built all Egypt stuff. So they wanted us so that we could teach them how to do that type stuff. And what did that brother say? Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute by means of captives in Jerusalem told abroad that the Jews had God to fight for them. God fight for us, man. We didn't even have to fight. And therefore They could not be hurt because they followed the laws he gave them. They couldn't touch us. Man, we went over there. Pretty much, he's telling them we went over there and tried to get some of those, some slaves and bring them back, some captives, so that we could pay you off. And oh man, they tore us up, man. They God fight for them, man. They keep their God's laws, and man, they God tore us up, man. We can't have nothing to do with them. That's when we kept our laws. That's when we kept our laws. So come back to your culture, because they'll do anything to keep you to break those statutes, laws, and commandments. Even by putting pork fat in some of the ingredients in the food, in your bread. It's gotten to the point where I question it, and one of my relatives told me that, that used to be a common thing, But of course I was like, well, nah, y'all, I gotta inspect and know whatever it is being cooked, because I don't want no pork grease and nothing I have. So I want to go to Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. Because if you want real power, keep the statutes, laws, and commandments. You go and lift weights all you want to. That ain't going to, you have no, that isn't, real power. You strong, but you don't have real power. You want some real power? I will show you real power. Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. Now, this is real power. One man of you shall chase 1,000. Now, I know there's brothers out there bench pressing 700 pounds, on the football field, front linemen. I've seen brothers push up over 400 pounds. Not me, but I've seen brothers get up there, 420, stuff like that. One of my relatives used to bench press 420, but he ain't chasing no 1,000 people. That's real power. You think you strong? That ain't nothing compared to one man chasing 1,000. So let me just read through this verse. Joshua chapter 23, verse 10. One man of you shall chase 1,000. For the Lord, your God, he it is that fighteth for you, as he hath promised you. He gonna fight for you, baby. You keep statute, laws, and commandments. You ain't gotta be out there tripping with them people. Hold your peace. Try and hold your frustration. Hey, talking stupid. I know you might just want to smack them in the mouth. Just wait. Wait on the Most High in Christ. They go to put their hands on you, well then now you within your means to protect yourself. Those words ain't affecting you. But like he said, one will chase 1,000. That's real power. If you want real power, and when we say Kwam Yasharala, that means rise, Prince of Power. So come back to your culture so that you can rise in power. Kwam Yasharala.